welcome to this week's Whip and Chat. This is rather unusual for me, and I'll go into those details maybe later. Grab your cuppas. I have my bucket of fresh tea, which I'm probably going to forget to drink until we're all finished. I am working on Galaxy, if you don't already know this. This is by Erica the Goober, and it is available on Diamond Art Club. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's still available on Diamond Art Club. It's not exactly a new diamond painting. But anyway, I have got my colours just off to the side here. I've got my tray, and I'm going to just pin back my sheet because I can't see squat. And it's just going to keep flapping back up if I don't pin it back, probably. And that's equally annoying. No, I can't see squat. This is why I don't like the clear cover. It needs to be slightly coloured. Because I can't see where that line is. It's like, you're really testing my eyesight. I'm not young. Goodness sake, Diamond Art Club. I'm teasing. Actually, I just see a bit of a line over on the other side that maybe needs to get filled in afterwards too. Alright, I think we could probably go for maybe a 7 placer today. 7? That's a 7. Alright, so I'm gonna move the wax around. Sorry, I'm off camera so you can't actually see what I'm doing. I'm just moving the wax around to fill it in kind of to start off. It kind of renews a bit of the sticky, just getting it into all the places. And as it works in, it will get the divots, and I will need to renew this too. I actually have a blob of blue tack on. Well, it's not very high tech. I use these washi paper stands, washi tape dispensers, as one of my camera stands, and it's got a glob of blue tack on it. So yes, high tech in the Brown household. So, her nibs is over there, supposedly watching the iPad, supposedly eating or not, her breakfast that she hasn't finished. And I'm waiting to see how long it's going to take the nibs to wander over, because I'm recording now, and go, what's in my drawer? You know, and start asking, because she does that. Sorry, I'm just going to slide that so that the drills fit in between. Okay, what am I doing? I'm doing S. And then I start off with, grab the multi-placer and then start putting down places individually. And look, it's already full, so... Right. So today is Tuesday. You notice anything different about Tuesday? Yes, I'm meant to be at work, but sort of. Meant to be as in I was originally planning to be at work, but I went to the GP yesterday as a stopgap kind of appointment that I ended up, because he was sick last week. So I jumped in with the hubby's appointment, which didn't impress him greatly. Not hubby, the doctor, because, you know, hubby needed his appointment time for his stuff. So he's kind of clock watching from the get-go, and it's like, oh god, right. And yeah, I sat there, and Sophie was being a plum and a half, and I was all out of sorts, and yeah, I just almost started crying in surgery, and the doctor goes, so what's the story? And I go, I'm tired, I'm grumpy, you know, I'm not dealing with this pain. And he goes, after a couple of minutes of other chatting, and he goes, do you want me to give you days off sick from work? And I go, no, I don't want to, because I'm kind of thinking, you know, I've got commitments during the week, blah blah, I've got meetings to do and all of that. And Marcus in the background goes, yes. And the doctor goes, it's not about whether you want it or not, it's about whether you need it. And it's like, right, okay, whatever. So yeah, I'm off work for the week. Mental health or sleep. I need my sleep. I actually slept a little bit better last night. Sorry, I'm all the fidgety though. I did sleep a bit better last night. I upped the gabapentin, which may have helped some of the spasming. I've also added, you pig of a thing. I've also added, what have I added? I've added my regular magnesium. So I had got a magnesium that I had been using, and it seemed to be working for me, even though it wasn't necessarily the magnesium that, you know, was the all-encompassing or anything else. Don't know why this one particularly works. Anyway, had got a stopgap magnesium. I don't have enough of these drills pointing the right direction. Had got this stopgap magnesium and thought it would be fine. It had the same content as I usually took, and it didn't seem to be working as well as I'd hoped, and I wasn't sleeping as well. All the fidgety, all the restless legs, and briefly mentioned that to the GP, and you know, mentioned, yeah, I'm gonna need to get bloods done, and like I asked to get bloods done so that I can see where things like iron are at, because apparently low iron can contribute to restless legs, and I've had it in the past. And yeah, took my regular bottle of magnesium, and yeah, between that and everything else, the increase in the med as well, I don't know, something might be clicking into place. I also see the exercise physiologist tomorrow. Yeah, so that'll all be, well, let's just say interesting. I can't say that it's going to be a success. To be honest, I'm not necessarily feeling very hopeful. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just all kinds of cynical and everything. Yeah. The step challenge has started, and I picked up my watch yesterday. And how frustrating is this? Sometimes it's a pill and it doesn't actually charge overnight. So this night it didn't connect. And the fancy watch that I have goes into what's called essential mode, which means that it's just this kind of not that, go away, that, no, hello, yeah, goes on to this kind of default screen. It's called essential, so it's see bye. Ooh. What did I tell you? It took 9 minutes. My child. Yeah. Anyway. So, it doesn't seem to be surviving the day. It's supposed to be up to 2 days battery life in the full mode, and it's not. So it goes into this essential mode, and when it goes into the essential mode, it basically doesn't do much of anything. It's kind of like, you know, a shadowy screen. Well, we're supposed to be measuring our steps, but you know, for the end of the day and that, and oh my god, some people are really kicking ass. The scary thing was Jen, was it Jen? I think it was Jen. She added up all of the steps by her team, and something like over 1 million steps or 1 million something or others. It was like, oh my god, that's huge. Like, go girls and guys, if there's any guys in there. That's phenomenal. You know, and I'm kind of thinking, oh geez, some days I think I only got 5,000 and kind of felt I haven't done anything today. Now, granted, an average day for me is probably 6,000, 7,000 steps. I rarely get over 10. To get 10 for me actually means I'm purposefully doing an extra walk. It's not part of my everyday, you know, printer and back kind of office day, and my home days would be nothing. You know, they'd be about 2,000-3,000 if, and that's just pottering around the house. Yeah. I don't know why I am able to get those numbers in, but I mean, I have had a day where I've only done like 800 steps in the whole day, and that's with the watch on. So yesterday I had to grab my backup watch, being my earbuds carrier, while my watch charged, you know, just as a secondary thing. So yeah, that was interesting, but it worked. It did okay. You know, even if it's just a vague and I've missed some steps or whatever, it's, you know, it's a rough guide. Yeah, haven't seen a board or anything to show these are my steps for this week, these are my steps that I need to aim for, or anything like that. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. All I know is people have been kind of commenting within our messenger group and kind of saying, hey, this is what I did each day, or this is what I'm doing, or showing pictures, and it's been stinking hot apparently in, well, most of the states, I think. We've got two in my group from Las Vegas, and Tia's in Vegas. Oh man. So I think, girls, you need to have a get together. One of the groups, I think it's Tia's group, she's actually walking to Tasmania. I think that's the plan, is to get to me, which I thought was really, really funny and cool and everything. I just heard a crack. Oh, it's my nail. That's okay. What are we going to do next? Oh, that was S. I was going to keep S out because I was going to do it on the other side when I'm finished. Mic. I call this one the mic. I know people have funny names for these. I call that, oops, that the microphone. Drop mic. Mic. That's just me. And I usually do turn these around too. There are lots of mic. I've been watching a bit of TV and run out of interesting things to watch. I'm in a bit of a funk. Some of the YouTube recommended videos that pop up, I'm kind of going, what? Some of the YouTube recommended videos I actually subscribed to. I know, the Hoof GP and Tom Pemberton's Farm Life or something, and Farm on Route 66. Yeah, I know, go figure. They don't actually release all that many videos, but it kept coming up in my recommended feed, and it was like, oh god. So I'd be watching the Hoof GP a lot of the evenings. Now I've got nothing to watch because he hasn't posted for ages. Actually, he has posted a merch post, but it's kind of nice hearing, well, I was going to say local accents. They're not, oh, did I seriously do that? Yes, I did. Oh my lord. Yeah, I've only had one coffee. That's what I'm blaming the coffee, or lack of. Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of nice hearing local home accents. They're not really. Actually, what's nicer is seeing the countryside and that kind of thing. It's just nice. And they're pretty interesting from the point of view of both of the English, Scottish boys, both of the boys will use drones occasionally. And they'll have the drones following the trucks going from farm to farm, and I think that's all kinds of nifty. Why would you want to watch, I suppose it's like Dr. Pimple Popper, why would you want to watch a guy scraping a cow's hoof, you know, is a little bit mind-boggling. Okay, he uses an angle grinder kind of machine, so it looks amazing. I think it's just how he puts the video together, how he just chats through it, how you see, you know, I mean, it's not like I'm going to be, you know, shaving a cow's foot anytime in the future. It's just really, I don't know, it's just, you know, absorbing. It's bizarre. Really, really bizarre. That's pretty much all I can say. But I think it's because, you know, you've got the really good music from, I think they use Epidemic Sound. I'm really kind of thinking I might have to, well, no, I want to, but we'll see. I'll keep it cooking for a bit more. You know what would actually help me upgrade would be me getting paid watchers, because then I would be absolutely pumping the money back into the channel. At the moment I seem to be just pumping money into my home bills, and having less kind of fun as a result. I'm just kind of feeling like I'm doing the grown-up thing rather than being able to have some of the fun at the moment. You know, that's just life and some of the swings and roundabouts we go through. You know, I can't and haven't been putting money into Diamond Art Club. I've got a box next to me with my 2 dragons, yeah, just things have slowed with that. They never have stock, and that's not their fault. It's just everyone else is buying the stock as it hits the shelves, or even on the pre-orders. And well, now they've got rid of the free shipping, I've got to budget even more carefully. So I think now I will start to buy the gift cards and just have it sitting there ready to go. But I don't want to pay shipping on one painting when I actually just want to stockpile until I've got a bunch of paintings available, because that's what I usually do, but they never have enough stock for me to be able to go, okay, I've got money and I'm gonna get my 3 paintings that I want. Does that make sense? I think in the US you probably don't have that issue, because I think you get, oh crap, I think you get more like free shipping at a much lower rate. So you don't have this dilemma that us internationals have. And oh my god, are you guys in the UK? Seriously, having to balance the free shipping option but keep it under the tax thing. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah, that just help. I don't know. Is there a workaround for that? Yeah, I don't know how you do that. The only way to make it viable for me to get a US based address, like a forwarder, is to change my address for absolutely everything, and I'm scared silly to do that because it's commitment. to do that. And I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know. I kind of, yeah. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm mentally stuck. Going, am I going to save money if I do this move? Yeah. I know there are some people who do it, and maybe they only do it for certain things, but I've got so much that actually comes from the States. I've got Misty, I've got Fortnite Fabrics I've looked at and nearly put off buying because it would end up being one swatch of fabric, a fat quarter and a fob, including delivery, would be 70 Aussie dollars. That's ridiculous for a fat quarter and a fob. Ridiculous. I don't know if the shipping option would make it overall much cheaper. But that's the dilemma I face. And yes, I want the stuff. And the guys, Derek and Christian in Fortnite Fabrics, do some beautiful colorways. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. All I can say is, you guys in the States, you are spoilt. You really don't know how lucky you are with the range of things that you've got available to you for free, for, you know, on your doorstep, that we don't have access to here in Australia. And I know people in the UK struggle with getting DMC colours for cross stitch, you know, so you know, it's not just the US or Australia that has problems. I'm aware of this. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, convenience and cheap. You really have it in spades in the States. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've always got quality, but you certainly, you know, when it comes to being able to buy, well, let's see, the Clay by Kim. Clay by Kim will not ship internationally at the moment. You know, and again, it's $20. So I would have to have that permanent address in the US, you know, set up to be able to, you know, try and get fastest finger first at the checkout for Clay by Kim. I don't know how the hell, you know, she only releases like 40 at a time. Wow. How do people get in so fast? Mind you, you could say the same about Diamond Art Club this week. They said that they put in extra orders for the Train of Dreams and it was still sold out in minutes. You know, it's unbelievable. I think it's just the buyer's demand. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Sophie. Oh, now, how many of you have actually watched my luxury unboxing? I got an Irish book, which I started talking. I got an Irish book, which was a little bit weird, just because I'm reading it and it's going, geographically it's not making sense. But I also got this bag of popcorn. Now this bag of popcorn, I make salted caramel popcorn. And I looked at the ingredients before the bag was opened because it was properly sealed and all that. Just shh. No, you can't sit on my lap. No. 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 Recording, Sophie. So this popcorn, anyway, it's got brown sugar, corn syrup, butter, popcorn, cooked in oil, vanilla bean paste, sea salt, and baking soda. And I kind of went, why? My popcorn, this is a Melbourne company, I think. Yeah, West Footscray, yeah, kind of Melbourne. Anyway, this popcorn has a whole load of ingredients in it that I seriously would not bother. I put butter, and I put sugar, and I put rock salt, and that's it. And I do equal butter and sugar. and I heat it to caramel. And you don't stir it, you swirl it, you swish it, and pour it on the popcorn and keep tossing it. That's my caramel popcorn. Now there is one other company in... Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Go away. There is one other company in Tasmania that does a gourmet kind of popcorn. I think she does more like a slab. And that's pretty good. I think she adds bits to it too. That's pretty good. I should check her ingredient list out. But yeah, this company's put in a whole lot of extras. I tasted it and I kind of went, my popcorn's better. So you'd be paying gourmet prices for this popcorn, and I'm sorry, but I make better. And I also air pop my popcorn, so you don't have the added fat. You don't have the added oil. So maybe the baking powder is put on. I mean, popcorn doesn't end up overly oily anyway, even when it is done in corn. Or in oil, I mean. But corn syrup, I know you're used to it in the US. Corn syrup is not a thing. In Australia, confectionery, really, I mean, lollies, yes. You know, the bigger companies, yes. Because they're trying to cut corners and, you know, be tight asses with ingredients, you know. It doesn't cost much to use corn syrup. It costs more to use real syrup, or it costs more to use real sugar, or, you know, that kind of thing. That's my point with that. Corn syrup, I think, is a cheap, sweet alternative. And maybe it's easier to work with. I'm not quite sure. But not a big fan of the whole corn syrup revolution. Sneeze. Excuse me. Oh. Oh dear. Excuse me. Alright, so back to my distraction therapy. So, you know, I've been watching the YouTube stuff. So instead of watching YouTube, I think I ended up going on to ABC iView. Now, ABC iView is like your, well, ABC is the BBC equivalent of TV. It's the national kind of company in Australia for TV. They show a lot of British kind of stuff. Like they'll show Doctor Who on ABC. And stuff like that. Well, I just went into ABC iView and clicked on drama, and I was looking for The Deceived, because I watched episodes 1 and 2 and didn't have episode 3 to watch. So I wanted to watch that, and it didn't have it on. But I did see a thing called The Durrells. I thought, what? And it showed a picture of a family sitting around a table in the water. I thought, what the heck? Is this like a Bridgerton thing? No, it's actually based on the life of Gerald Durrell. Gerald? Yes, Gerald. Gerald Durrell. Now, Gerald Durrell is kind of like David Attenborough for strange people. Gerald is a little bit eccentric. He's dead now. But he founded the zoo in Jersey Island, in the Channel Islands. But more importantly, he changed how zoos work. And he wrote a few books, and I think I've got one of his books called The Donkey Rustlers. And I'm not sure where The Donkey Rustlers was based. It's been so long since I've read it. But he's written a whole heap of books. Like, he's written over 55 books. And this show has 4 series. And I'm watching series 1 at the moment. It's got 4 series, and it's based on the Corfu trilogy, which is his biography style time of when they first moved to Corfu. And Gerald got his love for all things animals and his crazy family and how he has caricatured them and everything else. It's really quite funny. If you get a chance to watch the Geralds, please do. It's very it's like the best of all movies. There goes her Lego. Oh my god. The Lego is the bane of my feet. Okay, I wear boots. I wear Ugg boots in the house, but holy cow, she dumps it nearly every damn day. And then everything else gets dumped on top of the Legos. Oh my god. Anyway, the Geralds is the family story, and at the moment the family is trying to hook up Mum with, you know, I think she's ending up she's sweet on Sven, and she's completely missed the fact that the local Greek has a mad crush on her and has bent over backwards for this gorgeous English lady who stayed single for all of her remaining years. But anyway, just a typical Anglo-Indian, a kind of British expat story. Mum and her husband Lawrence were actually living in India and travelled quite a bit, and she very much incorporates herself into the local culture. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of glare from the window. Very much incorporates herself into the local culture, where the British were very they don't do the local customs thing. They want to do it the British way. They want the British customs at home and all of this kind of, you know, standoffishness, and they'd have their, you know, their slaves or their ayahs, you know, their home helps, because of course they didn't have slaves, but they would employ staff, you know, to look after the children, or, you know, housekeeping. And if you watch any of the old British movies, there's a couple of the old classics, and I can't think of the names now, but I don't even know if they'd be black and white or colour. I think they were colour. But there's ones where the servants wore gloves. You know, they wore white gloves. So you've got these black, you know, Africans, or you've got the Indians wearing the white gloves. And I think I remember in one of the movies, the woman completely freaks out and rips the gloves off because they're dropping things and all sorts of stuff. And she rips the gloves off and goes, "This is so stupid." And, you know, they get out of their Britishness and embrace more of the local kind of culture. And it's really interesting seeing how open the local cultures have been to the Poms, you know, invading. And the funny standoffish attitude. And look, I would hear this all the time. You know, the Brits abroad, very much Shirley Valentine, you know, wanting to go to Greece, have a holiday, they want to speak English, and they want their eggs and chips for lunch, dinner and tea. They don't want to eat the Greek food, and they don't want to speak the Greek language, and all, you know, there's all this kind of, but I can't speak your language, so therefore you have to speak mine. And there's a kind of, you know, air of, I don't know if they, yeah, I suppose toffiness. Now, I don't know that it's still a thing, but it certainly was a thing when I was growing up, that the attitude of Poms abroad left a lot to be desired. Maybe it's of some travellers still. Maybe it's all changed because there are no travellers at the moment. But you'll find that some people just embrace the local cultures, and some people absolutely, you know, they want to go there, but then it's hot, and they don't like the culture, they don't like the customs, they don't like the food, they get deli belly, they, you know, and there's precautions either not taken or misunderstood, and beliefs don't get understood, so therefore they're making all kinds of social faux pas, and you know, they're constantly getting in trouble because of those social faux pas, and therefore they think that these cultures are so much more uncultured, you know, uncultured swine, so to speak, to jokingly kind of say. But yes, it's interesting. But this family, so it's showing all the different, you know, Lawrence is the writer, Leslie just likes shooting things, but Gerald is getting his love of the animals, and you know, he's going out every single day and he's coming home with animals and keeping them in his house. Like, he's got a pelican and he's got bats that were in the bag of one of Lawrence, and he just keeps them and brings them up into his room, and there's, you know, animals escaping and they're in the floorboards and he doesn't care. Yeah. Well, at one point, because I was reading Wikipedia, as I do, about the family, at one point he stays in his sister's house, and they've got animals all over the place from his expeditions that he's gone and captured these animals from. And they're, you know, right throughout the house, you know, kept in cages or whatever, until he gets property to put them as a zoo. It's like, okay. Interesting. But his philosophy was very much, animals should only be in a zoo if they have no hope of being in the wild successfully, or if they're endangered to the point that, you know, they need assistance. There should be, you know, the captive breeding programs. They should have mates that they like. So they should be in a compound that is best suited for them. Then point number 2 is that they should be in a compound that best suits the keepers. And then point number 3 is they should be in a compound that then suits the visitors. And in that order of priority. And it just got me thinking, like, Dublin Zoo was a typical early 1900s exhibit zoo. The exhibits are tiny. Now, Dad had a membership in Dublin Zoo that gave him a lifetime unlimited access. God knows how much it cost. I think it was cheap back when he got it, and they didn't realise just exactly what they were doing at the time. But either way, I would have open slather to the zoo on his membership. And his family all got open slather membership access as well. So we got there quite often, because otherwise it was quite expensive. And the cage that everything was in was really small. The best exhibit was the sea lions. And they used to have a really good feeding time of like 11 o'clock in the morning. So you could get in there at a good time and you could watch the sea lions get fed, and they were, you know, interactive, because they'd get fed and then they'd go whooshing down the slide and then they'd come back up, and, you know, they'd be kind of doing tricks, but the lions just lay there and things like that. The next best thing for me were the otters and the penguins, and yeah, the enclosures are so small. Now, I don't know if Dublin Zoo's got a better philosophy from a breeding point of view, but Dublin Zoo got taken over in, I guess, interest, in that we then got the wildlife park down in Cork on Cove Island. Cove Island? No, maybe on Fota Island, sorry. And it's a little island down at Cork, and it is a wildlife safari park by comparison. So it's actually quite a walk through pastures, you know, by comparison. You know, you may or may not see the animals up close, if at all. You know, just the way the land lies and everything else. And it's a much, well, it's a good environment. You get to feed the wallabies, kangaroos. You know, they'd just be lying on the ground for you. The lemurs would be up on the cafe. just kind of wandering around, come down, steal your food, and then, you know, run away again kind of thing. There'd be birds all over the place and that. But they were relatively free. The monkeys, apes had an island that they were kept on with, you know, the rope bridges and all of that kind of thing. So you might see the monkey up the top of the island with, you know, wooden poles to get them there and that. So it was a much different environment. It was much more spacious, open, and slightly safari-like. And there were two distinctive areas. You know, there was where the giraffes, zebra, you know, roaming animals, herd roaming animals were, and then it was fenced off, and then you went through to another area. But there weren't any, I don't think there were any lions and stuff in this park. It was more the herd kind of animals. Whereas the wildcats were up in Dublin Zoo and stuff. So yeah, it makes me kind of think of my cats in their enclosure. Oh no, they did have cats, and those cats were in much smaller cages, but they're much more, you know, like a piece of native woodland was just kind of fenced off, so the trees have all been well established and all that kind of thing in there. But yes, there was some cats of some ilk in there. But yeah, photo was more, well, not more of a favourite. Photo was more difficult for me to get to because I was Dublin based by comparison. But we did enjoy taking the boys, or the kids, oh no, Jenna would never have gone. We did enjoy taking the boys to the zoo when I was down visiting family in Cork, because my brother lived there. And sometimes I got the train down with the kids, or we drove, or whatever, to do that. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, it just made me kind of, you know, think and do some research and find out about this crazy family. But it's a lovely kind of nutty family show, showing some of the well, what's a person from Corfu called? Are they Greek? Corfuians? I don't know. Some of the eccentricities of the Greeks, and I've got, you know, Marcus's best friend is a Greek, and they're, you know, big, loud, do things a particular way, and I love these repat movies or expat movies where the Brits go and buy a dump of a house and make a life for themselves in Greece, and the stories of disasters that happen as they do the home renos with, you know, next to nothing and no experience, and they just make it work. And, you know, people do this all the time. You know, people will buy the $1 house in Italy and it's, you know, run down and hasn't got water or whatever. You can still do this right now, today. You can buy a house in a remote village for £1 or €1, and there are certain rules as to what you have to do with the house in a certain amount of time, but it's cheap-ish. Because you've got to pay for the renos. But, you know, there are those kind of... it's not really Shirley Valentine. Shirley Valentine wasn't one of those, but there have been a couple. Now, that was one of those. There have been a couple of movies based on this kind of expat in adventures, and they do make them kind of funny, even though maybe at the time it was, you know, heartache because, you know, it's raining and your house roof is leaking more than a shower in a bathroom would rain. Yeah. But it does make for good storytelling afterwards, doesn't it? So yes, there's that. But I do kind of enjoy those kind of stories. Not because I myself have done that. I haven't got a building disaster. I haven't actually done any real renovations like that. When I did first arrive in Tassie, and Marcus has this bee in his bonnet about saying the royal we. This is a we without him. Just to clarify, when I first arrived, we as a family unit looked at a house in a mountain suburb that away, and there was no bathroom installed. They had the bits and pieces, but they hadn't installed it. There was still work to be done, and we were new to Tasmania and we did not know anyone, and we decided not to go for this house. Now this house had mud bricks that the owner builder had made, and you know, dried themselves, you know, so you've got that kind of legacy, history, whatnot. I absolutely loved it. And one of the windows downstairs was a cartwheel that they had put stained glass stuff into. It was incredible, but we did not want to take on a renovation job. My ex was not in any way, shape or form handy. That would have been down to me. Now that granted, probably could have done it, you know, but I wouldn't have known where to start. We wouldn't have had any tools or anything. We really would have been starting from scratch. And yeah, and we would have been snowed in the winter, and I think, I don't know, we spoke to locals, and the locals are all kind of, no, you don't want to go live in this suburb because it's, you know, you'll get snowed in the winter. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, okay, right. And yeah, decided not to. It is quite an isolated little community. I don't even think they have a store. Maybe they have a milk bar kind of thing where you can buy milk and bread, but I don't think so. There is a school there. There is a primary school, and that's about it. But yes, it gets snow. There was a couple of houses we actually looked at in this suburb way back when, but this house was certainly the nicest and most memorable. You know, 20 years on, I'm still remembering how beautiful this house was. It really was stunning, and they had one of those deprivation tanks. You know, where you float in, you close the lid, and you're floating in the salt bath. One of those. Sensory tank thing. Yeah. Slightly weird. And the kitchen was tiny. That was one of the things I didn't like. Did you just shush me? She just shushed me. Yeah. But some really pretty places around. In this gorgeous state of ours. Not sure how much walking, if any, I'm going to get to do today. Oh, it's getting to be a nice day. It was a grey morning. I think it was even raining this morning. But the blue skies have opened up. Yeah, if I go for a walk, it would be potentially up the hill, and that doesn't appeal. Let's see. I'll finish this and get her nibs dressed and out. Maybe take the dog. It's actually quite hard in some respects owning a dog in Tasmania. Over the, what we call the Eastern Shore, across the bridge, is what's called Clarence Council area. And they've closed off so many grassy areas from dogs. You know, you can't take them. National parks don't let dogs in. Yeah, there's so, I mean, we've got dog parks, but they're just fenced off areas where the dogs can run around. And a couple of them are really good, and we're getting more and more of them, which is good. But it really doesn't make it so that, you know, you can walk your dog on the beach with you, and having them as a companion kind of animal is, well, it's not that it's discouraged, it's just, I don't know, it's just not made so that you can bring them anywhere. Yeah, which is kind of off-putting. So, you know, I go to kind of think, oh, let's, you know, take the dog for a walk. No, can't bring him there, can't bring him here, can't, you know, and it's like, far out. Now, in saying that, people have been seen in these parks that they're not supposed to have dogs in with their dog. And I don't begrudge somebody walking their dog in a green park, because I don't think dogs should be only walked on concrete. But when you're going places like geocaching, having a toddler running around who isn't necessarily concentrating on ground zero, and then you've got a dog pulling on a leash because he's suddenly caught a smell, is like, yeah, that's not gonna work. And then there's the mess in the car. Well, in his case, just the hair. Or the paw prints. He's a funny one. Because his feet sweat. He actually loves going out the car, Maka. Loves going out the car. He is really, really good in the car. He, Tinker used to be really good as well. He was my teenage dog. Tinker used to stick his nose out the window and blow. Getting a face full of air at high speed. Yeah, he was a funny one. But yeah, getting all of the smells as they are on the road was really funny watching. But Maka is an awesome passenger. He sits up and he looks out the window of the, you know, he'll actually, because Maka more often than not will go out with me only, so he gets the front seat. And he'll get to sit in the front seat looking out the front window, watching the world go by. And absolutely loving it. Yeah. My next door neighbour got a new dog last week, and I'm hearing this, "You've left me all alone," kind of barking. And I'm going, have they got a new dog, or have they just, you know, they talked about having a new dog or getting a new dog last week when I caught up with them, but I didn't expect them to actually get one that quick. So I'd heard a dog before and it turned out to be her mum's, but this time I'm hearing this kind of neurotic barking going, what the heck? You know, as if kind of, hey, you've left me all alone out here. Hey, you know, I'm kind of lonely here. Hello? You know, and she was fine. But she'd stopped then, and, you know, it's kind of like, is there anyone home? Kind of, you know, hello? Kind of thing. So this got to me, and Sunday morning I decided, okay, I'm going to go stick my head over the fence and take a look at this dog, because it was like a weird shaped bark. I couldn't picture what size this dog was from the bark, and kind of thought, oh, it sounds a bit kind of middle-ish size. It's not, you know, Maka's beagle deep bark. It wasn't a latte boof bark, you know, golden retriever, you know, big dog bark. It wasn't a little yappy bark or anything like that. And I'm kind of thinking, yeah, it's kind of a mid-size. Marcus is kind of going, well, maybe it's a blue heeler. I said, oh, possibly, you know, she is a ex-farmer. She may have wanted to get a cattle dog, you know, some kind. Well, I stick my head over the fence, and this thing comes running down to me, and I'm just gobsmacked. it is what looks to me like a black golden retriever. And it's a teenager. I can see how young she is as well. Oh my lord. It was like looking in my retrievers' faces, but you know, so much different and nicer and lovely, and she's just awesome. Anyway, so then I called in when the family eventually got home, and I said, "Oi, I have a complaint to make. You didn't introduce me to your dog." Because I didn't know what to call her over the fence when I'm talking to the cats in the morning, and she's out there. So now I have her name, and she's just beautiful. She's gorgeous. And I don't know how in the hell they managed to get this dog out of the home. She is a find and a half. She, as I say, she looks like a purebred golden retriever, except that she's black. Because normally the dogs in the home are staffies and mixes like a staffy. You know, they're boxy, you know, shouldery, muscly dogs. Beautiful dogs. Don't get me wrong, personality wise they're gorgeous, but they're not, you know, sweet and cuddly. And I really like my long-haired dogs. Again, why I have this damn beagle, I don't know. It's the ex's dog. Anyway, I don't like straight-haired dogs. They're not cuddly. Best part of Mocha is his ears. You know, they're the softest part of him. He's funny though. He talks. He really is funny. You know, go out and pet him and he'll start going. He talks like Mrs. Coffee talks about Killian talking. He talks just the same. So I get it when she's saying that Killian talks to her. Yes, Mocha talks. And he doesn't eat his vegetables. He's terrible. So I mixed his vegetables in with the porridge this morning. So it would be interesting to see if he's been able to lick the vegetables out of the porridge. He's so bad. There's a piece of broccoli on the ground because he, you know, moved to one side. He's a bad puppy. No, he's not. He just does not like his vegetables. Sometimes I don't blame him. Yes. So, yes, we have a new dog next door. So, that's all kinds of cool. She's young. She's about a year old. So, yeah, she'll be fun to chat to through the fence. Really good for the kids to play with and everything. So, yeah, that's awesome. And she's a good looking dog. I mean, you can't go wrong with a retriever from a looks point of view. I was going to say dumb as dog shit, but they're not, unfortunately. They are smart, if not frustrating, in the fact that Latte used to see the gate open and then bolt and go play on the beach. You know, you can't be dumb and not take advantage like that. So yeah, he'd go play on the beach and then he'd come home happy, satisfied and exhausted, and then collapse on the ground in front of the fire. You know, I mean, that's kind of living, isn't it? Yes. Scared the crap out of me when he did it first, though. Really scared the crap out of me. And I'm screaming at him, and of course he's running away, and he's just kind of going, la 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 la. Oh, good lord. Yeah. Daft bugger. And all these people who say, oh yeah, train your dog to come on recall. I'm kind of thinking, how? When they will listen to you. They're fine in an enclosed area. Remove the fence. Whoosh, gone. You know, I can do a recall in the dog park. And they come running at a rate of knots. But when you're out in you know, without a fenced area, nah. They will just run. And they will run after scents that would be in the dog park, wouldn't they? No. No. Just run. You know, Mocha catches a smell, and there's no keeping them. Like, if I walk up the top of the hill here, okay? There's no fences up here. If I walk up the top of the hill, I'm going to have them gone into the bush after a skippy, okay? And the skippies will either have been sleeping in there or whatever, you know. And he will be gone. And there is no amount of calling is going to get him back. If I go to the dog park, he'll run after a smell, but if I give him a recall, he'll come back to me. You know, hello? It's not that he doesn't want to. It's just that he chooses not to. And he switches off his ears in favour of his nose. Maybe it smells better outside of the park. I don't know. But it does leave me as a slightly frustrated owner. And I can't find my bum bag. My bum bag that I had a canvas bum bag that one of the pockets used to have a plastic bag lining it, and I would fill it with Twiggy sticks. Twiggy sticks being a little kind of salami preserved meat stick that I've talked about before. And now I would cut them up into little centimetre squares. And what you would do is, like when they dry out, they'd go like a jerky kind of thing. But because of the fat content in it, you could rub them and you could get it warmed up and the fat would rub onto your fingers, and it was a smelly, jerky kind of smell. So you'd get the scent on your fingers. So you could train them and you could give them the occasional treat, and then you could just train them to the smell left on your fingers and get them to do their healing and all of that kind of thing. You know, but yeah, I don't know where my bag has gone. There's a few things that when I moved into this house, they got relocated and hasn't really kind of surfaced because, you know, when I moved in, it was like, this is not my house, this is your house, and a lot of, you know, I don't know where to put my things. You know, I was kind of given rein in the garage, but you know, I didn't unpack fully. I don't know, I kind of wonder, and Marcus is kind of going, well, you've got to make it your own. I'm kind of thinking, yeah, but anything I do to change it was then affecting his girls because that's not what they were used to or whatever. And yeah, it was very much kind of felt like I was invading, and I couldn't decorate because it's his parents that own the house, and you know, so I can't repaint, you know, and it's not my home. If it was my home, there'd be things done that are not done, you know, potentially. You know, there's holes in the roof because the builder, when they were hammering the new or screwing the new roof on, went through the inside of the roof. You know, so it's come through into the lounge room, and that kind of shit shouldn't happen. You know, he should have been brought back to finish the job. Well, because he's a mate of Dad, it hasn't been done, and it hasn't been chased up the way it should have been, and it's just like, yeah, that kind of carry on. Like the deco's only just been, we got the deck up for the wedding and it was not finished. But we had to kind of use, I suppose, the wedding as a bit of a kind of, give us the deck and we'll get married on it. So we got bare bones of a deck. I don't even think there were stairs on it when we actually got married. So we had to, you know, kind of felt like manipulating the parents to give us something because it was just a space that we couldn't use. Yeah. Anyway. The canvas over this side seems to be a little bit poorly printed, almost like it got creased or something in printing, and some of the ink is moved or buffed off. Kind of, you know how when you've got writing on a page and the creases fluff up and you lose where the writing was? It's kind of that kind of... Ooh, oops. I was wondering what was going on with this. It's split. It's split. I've broken my 7-placer. Rightio. Well, I'm not going to stop, but... I split my pen! Look! The end is broken. I know! That's okay, I've got other pens.
Mommy, I can fix it for you.
No, you can't. No, it needs a new pen top. I've got more. Okay. I'm going to have to sign off because she's got a poo and she hasn't told anyone. So we need to go change her nappy. I wish she would get out of nappies, but she's... Oh, she's hit and miss when it comes to going to the toilet. Well, she's going to have to get a move on. It's not like she's not old enough to do it. She's smart enough to do it.
What do you mean, Mommy?
But yeah, look, I've got tons more to go, so I'm not going to keep you holding. All right, I'll go deal with her. I'm getting hot too. Thank you for joining me, prattling on about TV and family and all sorts of weird stuff. I will see you around on the tubes. Please, if you're still with me, drop me a comment. Let me know, what's your favourite kind of TV show. If you've watched The Geralds, what do you think? I think it might only really appeal to English audiences. Maybe it's not sitcom enough for Americans. It's certainly a different style. It's very much an English style. If you want to learn how the English are, maybe watch this. Okay, it's wartime English. Because this is set before the war. It's set in the 30s, 1930s. It's very time appropriate. It's very culture appropriate. And it's just simple, slightly crazy. Kind of cool. Like your crazy Aunt Mildred kind of thing. I don't know if you've got those kind of family things quite so much in the US. Maybe you've lost it because you're so many generations out of the UK. Whereas, yeah, I'm Irish, having been brought up in Ireland, and can see the quirkiness of, these people. And I still love British TV. So yes, I'm raving about it. I think it's brilliant. And it's all kinds of homey and just cool. And it's, it's British expats making good. And, well, they only lived there for 4 years in reality. And then they went back to England. Anywho. Yes, I'm going to crack on. I'm going to do a bit more of this. I'll get her changed. I'll keep going with this. I'll finish off this bit. And then I'll, pack up. But, I don't have much left of Galaxy. Just that bottom bit of the skirt. And her crazy hair. She's got hair as much as me. And my hair is actually still in my overnight plait. Actually, this is all fallen out this morning. Yeah. Whereas the rest of it is still restrained in the back. Yeah. So I'm going to change her, finish my tea, put the TV back on, do some editing, and I will see you around on the tubes. Yeah, click subscribe if you're not already subscribed, if you're still watching. Ring the bell for the notifications of when I drop a video. You got lots and lots of crafty kind of videos this week, floss tube and all that kind of stuff. And I will see you around on the tubes. Take care. Bye for now. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand.